Today I'm going to do something a bit different. Instead of my usual kind of high intensity for me video, I'm gonna take things a bit chill and just talk to you for a bit about something that's really important to me. That's having a productive family. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about the productivity in really the same sense as everything else on this channel, the whole getting things done mentality. Instead, I'm talking about productivity in the sense of a peaceful, well-balanced, and connected family. A family who can work together to produce good works. Now, I don't want you to get the wrong impression here. Or I should say, I don't want you to get an overly high impression of our family. We have tons of issues just like everyone else, but we do try, and we try really hard to work through them together as a family. And one of the main ways that we do this is through something called rest on every side. This week I was struggling a bit to find a topic to talk about in today's video. I started off by thinking that I would share with you all my no list. I'm sure most of you watching this have heard of that before. It's a list of things and dreams that you want to do, but you just have to say no to for one reason or another. And it's very helpful to create this no list in a real location, not just mentally, so that you can refer back to it and remind yourself that, hey, no, you said no to this. You can't pursue it right now. Maybe someday in the distant future when situation changes, but for now it's no. I'm at a point in my life where I've realized I've said yes to way too many things, and I have way too many dreams and ambitions and goals and hobbies I want to tackle. And it's just left me worn out and exhausted. And so I thought I'd share with you the process that I went through to figure this out and to create the list of everything I want to do, as well as how to narrow it down on what I said no to. But when thinking about this, I realized that this was actually just part of our family's rest on every side. And I thought, hey, let's take a step back and share that with you instead. So what is rest on every side? Well, I can't share this with many people, but with you viewers, I'm pretty sure you'll understand. It is basically David Allen's getting things done, but just for the more emotional and touchy-feely side of things. More the unrests versus the tasks. Now, some of them may have crossover. Some of the unrests in your family may have to do with tasks and projects not getting done. Ours certainly does. But there's no reason to limit it to just that. So in just about 10 minutes from now, I am going to leave my office and I'm going to go into the living room with my wife and our 6 children. We're going to light a nice big fire in the fireplace, sit down on the couches, and really tackle all of the unrests in our family. This initial session, which we should probably be doing once a quarter at the very least, is just a brain dump. The whole point here is to go through everything that we can think about and write down every single source of unrest in our family. Every area where the shoe doesn't fit, if you will. This is going to take a couple hours. It may even take a couple of nights in a row. And when we're done, we're probably going to have a list of well over 100 items. But that's okay. The important part is to get everything written down. And when I say everything, I mean everything. We'll cover the spectrum of everything from, oh hey, we go through way too much laundry every week and it is costing and wasting a whole bunch of time, to bigger issues such as we're eating way too much junk food again as a family. And it's not just about the kids, it's about Yolanda and I know one of the big things on my list about myself is that I just buy too much stuff without really thinking through of it. Yolanda's may be the exact opposite, that she is too reticent to buy something when she needs it. The important thing is to really sit down and write down every single thing you can think of, from the personal items, to the items in your marriage, to those as a family as a whole, or just the children individually. In this way, I'm pretty sure you can understand how I see the crossover between David Allen's getting things done, that initial brain dump of just writing everything down in your task manager. Once we've completed this list and are no longer finding any obvious remaining sources of unrest, we'll move on to stage 2, and that is the organization and prioritization of these items. This is when we'll go through and categorize everything based on priority and what is most important. An important thing to remember when making this prioritization list is to always try and focus on attacking the nearest thing first, the thing that is right there at hand. If, for instance, your diet is a big thing, maybe don't start by planning out, oh, you will only eat out on such and such a weekend every other month or stuff like that. Instead, go to the cupboard and pull out the chocolate and the cookies and whatnot and just throw those away. Okay, start with the things that are nearest first, and then move on to the things that take a little bit more effort and can't be done right away. Now, another example which might hit a little bit too close to home and I might risk antagonizing some of you is, say, screen time. A lot of parents that I talk to frequently complain about how much time their children spend on screens, whether it be iPads or iPhones or TVs or games or whatever. The thing is, if this is something that is really important to you and you don't want your children spending time on those devices, you would rather have them do something else, well, this is one of those nearest first times. You just take the iPads and throw them away. Don't throw them away, donate them to someone who can actually use them. Yes, I'm sure I will hear back from some of you saying, oh, this is a terrible idea, they need them. Oh, okay, this is a personal choice Yolanda and I have made. We have decided that our children, they just don't have screen time, except in very limited circumstances. Very limited circumstances. This is something that me being a computer programmer, working on the computer all day, and growing up spending my life in front of the TV and being addicted to video games, it's really important to me. Your mileage may vary. What I'm trying to say with it, though, is if there is a major issue, oftentimes the best way to get rid of it is the most obvious, even if it is the most painful. The big thing with all this, though, is the why, not the how. The how is great, you need to know that, but the why is the really important thing. Why are we going to do this? Why are we going to take the time on a Sunday afternoon to sit all around on the sofas and work through all these issues when we could be having fun playing board games or doing whatever? Quite simply, it's because we want to have a peaceful family where we all really tight-knit and close together. We want to be able to work together to produce great works, both now and in the future. And the thing is, there may be some minor unrest in my life. Say, for instance, well, the obvious one, that I am a workaholic. I spend way too much time producing and in my office, and I have all these crazy ideas of things I want to get done. The thing is, that doesn't just affect me. It affects everyone in my family. The basic principle in the family is what affects one affects everyone. Now, of course, mine is an obvious example. Yes, it leaves me stressed out and way too busy, so I can't have a fun, enjoyable time with the rest of the family. The thing is, this applies to every single thing, not just these big ticket items. If one of our children just refuses to fold their laundry and just throws them in their dresser drawer, that affects the rest of us just as much as my unrest. And it's really important to take this time together as a family and try to iron out as all of those unrests as you can so that you can, spend the time together and really make a difference and have a productive family. Now, as I said, I already started this process myself. I went through all the list of kind of personal goals and ambitions and things that I want to learn and do by myself or with the family, and really sat back and said, hey, I can't do this. This is destroying my time with the family and causing way too much unbalance and stress here. And so what I did over the past week is went through and cut out and said no to a whole bunch of things. And these aren't just now someday maybe things, these are on a no list, which means that I'm no longer giving myself permission to think about them unless some major change happens in my life. And there are some big ones on there. This one isn't so big, but this spring I was really looking forward to learning fly fishing. I love fresh fish, and I would like to be able to source fresh fish locally through my own efforts, and I think fly fishing would be a perfect match for my personality. Plus, it would give me time to get outside in nature and just spend some time alone in the solitude, which is very important to all of us. But I just had to say no to it. It's not something I can feasibly do right now in my life. The bigger one, though, is German. Now, if you've been a regular viewer of this channel, you'll know that I said no to Japanese a couple of months ago. German, though, is a really big one that I'm choosing to say no to. And this wasn't a personal decision I talked about with Yolanda, and she agrees that I just have to say no. There is no practical reason for me to learn German, really. Of course, I would love to read and converse with people natively in German, but it's not something I have to do because most of the times there's translations in English and everyone I'm speaking to speaks English anyway. The bigger reason that this is a really tough decision on my part is because I have said repeatedly in these videos, one of my dreams for life is to earn Swiss citizenship. And a prerequisite for that is knowing German to a satisfactory level. And me choosing to say no to learning German is also choosing to say no to that dream. Now, once again, this may change at some point in the future. And in all honesty, I haven't spent any time learning German over the past year and a half. So why am I saying no to it now? Because even though I haven't studied at all in the past year and a half, it has been that just little source of annoyance in my life. I guess the best thing I could say is that part of my mind has always been focused or distracted on it, knowing that, oh, I should get back to doing that. I should be spending some time every day. Now I'm free from that. I have chosen to let it go, and that frees me up and allows me to live more peacefully every single day. And it was a tough choice. It was not something that was easy to let go of. Well, that got a little bit more personal than usual, and that's a good thing, I guess, because that is one of my goals for this year, is to just open up and just be more transparent with my life, both to those immediately around me, as well as you guys who are watching this channel. I want to make myself more vulnerable. I just really want to be open and completely transparent about all this so that you guys can really come to know who I am really, and not just some, mask that is up here. That's all for this time. I hope you were able to take something away from this. If I somehow said something that meant something to you, please leave a comment down below. I really appreciate that. And if you want to, please stick around, because next week I'm going to be talking about something that I chose to say yes to for this coming year. Something that I'm kind of excited about and can't wait to talk to you about, and I'll give you a hint. It has to do with cameras and photography and videography and all of that fun stuff. Yes, I will be talking a little bit about gear. I'll talk about it next week, even if I don't have anything to show you yet. Until next time, bye. That little